Alrighty, our third problem asks us, how should we find the inverse of y equals ex? There are actually two main ways of doing it. So it's asking us to find the inverse of y equals e to the power of x. The first way is just, let's say, solution 1. The first way is obviously just directly saying that the inverse of y equals ex is y equals ln of x. Why? Because we know that y equals ex because y equals ex it's the exponential function, and the inverse, so the inverse of the exponential function it's the ln function. Let's just say it's the ln function. So we can just directly say that the inverse, or y to the power of -1, the inverse of y to the power of y equals e to the power of x, it's ln of x. This is our solution number 1, written like that. But solution number 2 might be, you might prefer solution number 2 where you actually derive the inverse of y equals ex. So let's follow the steps of finding the inverse function. First step of finding the inverse function is that we switch the order of x's and y's in our expression, or we just swap x and y in our original equation. So right here we have y equals e to the power of x. Now we have x equals to e to the power of y. Then we try to get y alone on its own. In order to do so in this specific case, we would want to take the line of both sides of the equation so that the equality is preserved. So ln of x is just ln of x. There isn't really much we can do to simplify it. But based on the rule of logarithmics, ln of e to the power of y can be simplified as y ln of e, y times ln of e. Also, we know that ln of e is actually 1 because, again, ln of e is actually a special type of logarithmics with base e, and we know that log of e is just 1. So this case, ln of e is actually equals to 1. So we have ln of x equals to y times ln of e, which is 1. So we have y equals ln of x. Perfect. And now we're done. Our third step, or last step for proper form, is just we write we switch y with y to the power of -1, which is a symbol for inverse. So here we completed our solution, and we know for the function y equals e to the power of x, its inverse, y to the power of -1, is ln of x. Perfect. This is how we solve this problem. Now, let's look at our sample solution here and see what did they do. They adopted approach number 2, and basically they did the same thing as us, except they used a different notation for y to the power of -1. So yeah, let's just say the solution is correct. Solution is correct. Excellent job. Nice. Now let's move on to our fourth problem for today. Let's see.